Yeah, so my topic today, I was talking about what we call morphologomics, and that's a made-up word. It's really just sort of a pun or a joke on omics technology. Omics technology being massive data accumulation from a whole lot of means. I really wanted to make the point that in diagnostic surgical pathology, there's a lot of data just in morphology, looking at tumours under the microscope, that's been understated a bit, or maybe not emphasised because we're so entranced with new developments in technology. And if I could say, make one point, it would be that with all these exciting new technologies that we've been discussing a lot in the last day, we shouldn't forget about morphology, looking at tumours under the microscope as pathologists have done for more than 100 years, because it's still a very powerful way of classifying tumours. There's been a lot of interest and a lot of talk today about massive parallel sequencing in cancers, and I suppose we forget that a lot of the triaging for that is done with morphology, that pathologists look at tumours under the microscope, and a lot of cases that come to us as maybe this is cancer, in fact are completely benign and don't need any more expensive testing to be performed. I look forward to closer integration of morphology with molecular testing, and that goes both ways. So we may have a tumour that we can't classify well with morphology, and then we can review that once we see the genetic testing. And similarly, we can see genetic tests that don't fit into, any clearly designed patterns, and then we can look at the tumour and maybe review the genetic test based on clues in the tumour morphology. Well, again, as a primary morphologic surgical pathologist, where I spend most of my clinical days looking down the microscope, it certainly is hard to attract funding and interest in that area because the technology is 100 years old. I think sometimes, we confuse old technology with out-of-date technology, and it's still as valid now as it has been for a long time, just with the new molecular testing adding degrees of complexity. One of the issues with omics technology, and molecular testing in particular, is that it's a bit of a black box technology. That is, the tumours go into a black box and a result comes out the other end, metaphorically, and there's not really a way of double checking or making sure that mistakes haven't been made. I think the diagnosis of cancer is so important in a patient's life, in our society, that we need to be able to double check things. And so at the very least, looking at something under the microscope offers a great double check for molecular testing, just as molecular testing offers a double check to make sure the pathologists haven't missed something by looking at things under the microscope. And so promoting that integration through the surgical pathology lab into the molecular testing lab and the informatics pipeline is something that pathologists need to be aware of. Pathology Horizons has been a fantastic experience. It's been a great opportunity to be in the same room as 50 key decision makers and thought leaders in the field of pathology. It's been interesting to have people suggest the ways that they think pathology will travel in the next 10, 15 years, but also to talk informally between sessions with people about emerging technologies and emerging events. So I'd really recommend Pathology Horizons going forward. I look forward to the next meeting next year.